Hey, aloha everyone. Michelle Melendez with Blossom Inner Wellness and StandTogetherHawaii.com. Thanks so much for joining. I have T on the call again. She's calling in. She's been studying someone who's been studying the system of the corporate government that is running our lives really, and making rules and fining people and doing all kinds of stuff. But she has she understands and been studying the legality of it, and do they really have legal control over us, and what are our rights, and how do we stand up for those rights and get ourselves out of these crazy tickets. And also, this is to support Maui, because if anybody over in Maui got a ticket for stopping their car to take a picture, that is your right to do that. And so we're going to be sharing templates. I'm going to have these on StandTogetherHawaii.com, and you guys can go over there and take a look at that. But T, thank you so much for joining.
Good morning. Hi. Thanks for having me.
So I do want to let people know this is by your discretion. We're not giving legal advice. This is something that you can, and I highly recommend that you research for yourself to know what your rights are, to know what the truth is for you. So you take responsibility for using any of this stuff. We're just going to show you, and T has used this to help somebody, and I'll let her share that story. But first, before we start, I do want to do a screen share, because I want to remind everybody and show everyone that the state of Hawaii is a corporation. And this is for my smart city. So I went to Duns and Bradstreet number, and so T, can you please explain what a Duns and Bradstreet number is briefly?
Yeah, Dun and Bradstreet is where businesses go to register their company. And, it gives specifics about who the key principal is, the primary address, the, financial information. So all the nitty gritty of the financial stuff, I think you have to pay to access. But the Duns and the DNB number, you can have them email it to your email. And so, you can find out the names of the businesses and their DNB numbers, indicating that they are indeed businesses and not government, because government cannot make profits. They are there to provide services and not make profits. And so if it's a business, then it cannot be a government. And that's just the long and short of it. It's a simple concept, but, we've never really heard of it before. So that's what Dun & Bradstreet does. And people can go on their website.
Yeah, so business cannot be a government, you guys. I love that part. This is the state of Hawaii. In Honolulu, this is their Duns and Bradstreet number, 96813-2963. But I also wanted to look up one more for you guys, state of Hawaii. And this is for the, let me refresh the page, because I'm going to go to Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia, and look up the state of Hawaii number with that one.
Because state of Hawaii, you might want to go to Hawaii instead of D.C., because all the main businesses are in D.C. because it's U.S. It pertains to the U.S. That's a big corporation, and then there are sub-corporations. And so for state of Hawaii, you might want to go under Hawaii instead of D.C.
Well, I've done both, and they both have come up. So
okay.
I did the Hawaii first, and now the District of Columbia, but it's taking a while longer to come up. So I really want to show you guys this, though. So let me try one more time, because last time I did this I was like, what? So let me look at this. This is some of my other stuff. But Duns and Bradstreet number, I'm going to do this one more time for you guys, and then if it doesn't work, we will move on, because I am going to show the templates. And T, while I'm doing this, can you please just explain briefly, you use this to help somebody, right?
Yes, and it was a criminal case.
That we're going to share.
Yes, it was a criminal case, and So I did the FOIA. The FOIA is the Federal Freedom of Information Act. And so I just basically asked the people or the corporation who's bringing the charges, which is the state of Hawaii, some pertinent questions that, I know they can't answer because, I provided them with the information that they are in fact corporations. And so how can corporations bring charges against a man or a woman? And the fact is that they can't. And so I think that's how things get dismissed because, they can't go into open court and admit that they're businesses. And so, this is interview is a segue from last interview where, we showed you how to look up DNB and DNB.com and verify that these are in fact businesses and not government. And when they are business, they lose all immunity. So, they have no more control than Walmart. And Walmart does indeed have control over Walmart employees. But are we Walmart employees? Are we U.S. citizens? And most people think we are, except for, I think we've shown that Washington, D.C. is where the U.S. corporation does business. So unless you live there and unless you're getting a paycheck from the U.S. corporation, then, you're not under their jurisdiction. So
yes, all right. It came up. So I just want to do a screen share again. State of Hawaii, this is so weird. The state of Hawaii, we have one in the Duns and Bradstreet number in Honolulu. This is state of Hawaii in Washington, D.C. Has a totally different number. Location, business. Oh, out of business. This is really interesting. I don't know what this means, but I just looked up state of Hawaii at the District of Columbia, and it says out of business. So that's really interesting. So I didn't take a look at that. What was that?
The U.S. corporation had gone through, I think, at least 3 bankruptcies. And I don't know, and they've reorganized and went bankrupt and reorganized. And so I don't know what the state is now, but that's interesting. You said that they're, it says out of business. So guess what? A bankrupt corporation has 0 power.
Yes. So I'm going to let it run its course doing that. And we're going to show you guys some templates. Now let's see where I put those things right here. Okay. So some templates are these. So people who have like a ticket, a parking ticket, should we start at the template bill of particles, or where should we start? Procedure, FOIA, cover sheet. Where do you want to start?
Let's start. Okay, so immediately, if you received one of these tickets or citations, regardless of it's criminal or civil or whatever it is, you start immediately by sending, whoever is trying to contract with you, and usually here it's the state of Hawaii or it's the state of California or whatever it is. So you start immediately with the bill of particulars. And the bill of particulars is like a, gathering data. And so, you ask them certain questions. And so, you can go over the template. I mean, it's a lot of questions like who is the state of Hawaii, and what jurisdiction does it have, and, where it covers, and is this criminal or civil? Because civil, meaning that there has to be a contract. And the contract, in contract law, you have to have the meeting of the minds or full disclosure. You can't have a contract like a license to drive, for instance, without disclosing what drive means, right? And so without a full disclosure, then the contract is null and void on its face. And so in a criminal case, then there has to be an injured party. So these are some of the questions that this bill of particular addresses, and they have to answer it because, if somebody's coming at you, then you have the right to ask them, well, are you sure it's me that you're coming after? Do you have the jurisdiction to come after me, first of all? Because if you're a business, then, you know, and I'm not an employee of your business, then maybe you don't have jurisdiction. So, you know, France can't come over to America and charge anybody with anything, right? Because it's France. We don't live under the laws of France. And so that's where the jurisdiction comes in to play. And so, you know, it's kind of lengthy, but yeah, it's very effective at asking certain questions.
This is awesome. So you guys, this is the word ask king. Whoever is asking, that is the king. So here's some of the questions. I've had this up while T was talking, so you guys can take a look at this. But this is going to be at standtogetherhawaii.com. And I don't know, I'm going to make a new page for it, and I haven't decided the name of that. But just go to standtogetherhawaii.com. Please join our email list. You're going to get a lot of different information around freedom and understanding your freedom and your rights and what power you have, because we have so much more power than we give ourselves credit for. But these are just absolutely amazing questions. What evidence or territorial jurisdiction does the state of Hawaii has over Hawaii, given all written law must identify the territory to which it applies? I mean, you just have so many amazing questions in here. And what happens when people submit this? What is the next thing that they usually get, or do they get something back in the mail?
No, this is so like I said, you know, this is right off the bat. Once you get a ticket, doesn't matter what it is, or any harassment by the state or the county or one of these businesses coming after you, then you have to ask these questions. So right off the bat. But you know, there's other documents that will give them 10 days. So the FOIAs, again, is federal law, and they have to answer within 10 days. That's their law, okay? It's not laws for us, it's laws for them. Because we don't have constitutional rights. This is where most people are mistaken. The Constitution is there to obligate public servants. It's not to give us rights. We have all rights under the Creator, unless we do harm. And so, you know, so we don't have constitutional rights. We have all rights, unalienable rights, okay? So don't hurt anybody, don't injure, you know, then you have all rights. You don't have to wear a seatbelt if you don't want to, because who does it harm? You know, if you go over the speed limit and you didn't harm anybody and you're careful, it's, you know, late at night, there's no cars around, there's no pedestrians, so who does it harm? The thing about, you know, being honorable and you know, caring for the members of your society is that you're always acting as if, you know, you're caring for your family. You don't want to injure your family. You don't want to hurt anybody. You don't want to drive and drink, because you can hurt somebody. And, you know, in law, you may, you know, if you take somebody's life, you may pay with your own life. And so, you know, you have to think that, okay, well, if I have the freedom to travel over the speed limit, which, okay, who determines what the speed limit should be? Or if I should wear my seatbelt, that's a personal decision. It's not up to the state, or it's not up to a business to tell you how to live your life, as long as you live it honorably. Take care of your neighbors, take care of your family, take care of your friends and your neighborhood and your community. That's what law is. That's what natural law is. We don't have to abide by anything else that businesses, you know, impose upon us, except for if we would contract with them. But again, contract without full disclosure is null and void.
Yes, and we have many, many contracts without full disclosure. That is for sure. Like your birth certificate being the number one starting of all of these contracts that are not full disclosure. So let's go back to some of these templates. And I just looked up also California, state of California also has a Duns and Bradstreet number. So you guys, take a look at your state. Go to Duns and Bradstreet number and put in state of, and put your state in there, and you can put your state. So North Carolina, go North Carolina, but then also put in District of Columbia and just see what shows up. It's really very interesting. So, okay, the next one is FOIA police template. What is this one
You know,
about?
yeah, so the police is usually the complainant. So they're the first one to write a ticket or issue a citation or, you know, come to your house to harass you about something. So again, if you didn't do harm or injury, then what are they doing? Complaining. So again, these are all businesses, okay? They're fictions. Businesses are fiction. And so, you know, they can't really come after men and women except for there's harm or if there's harm and injury. So since they're the first point of contact with you, then you do a FOIA, which again, they have to answer within 10 days. And you ask certain questions
And
like,
FOIA,
you know.
Hey, please tell people what FOIA means.
FOIA means Freedom of Information Act. And so this is a federal law for them, okay, that they have to answer these questions for public information within 10 days. So within 10 days, they have to reply and give you, you know, an answer to your FOIA. Okay, so the FOIA is structured very specifically. And, you know, it asks for the certified notarized oath and bond. So all public servants need to be bonded in case they harm. Okay, so that's a big, huge thing. And they have like bonding is like insurance. So in case you harm somebody, then, you know, insurance pays for any harms and injury that they did. And so it's asking again for the county's EIN number, because if they make a profit, then they have to pay taxes to the IRS, and they never do. And so, you know, the IRN then, you know, will do the reporting for them. And then the evidence of their territory jurisdiction, because again, with the DUNS number, it tells you exactly where the territory jurisdiction is. Okay, and I want to go over that a little bit. So if you were to look at,
Which one? Because I have the FOIA prosecutor's template. This is the next one that I have.
I'm still on the police template.
Oh, okay, the FOIA police. Okay.
Yeah, but if you were to look at the note sheet that I have, because, you know, I kind of describe what's what. Shoot, hold on, let me.
So this is a one-pager. Is this? Yeah, this is a one-pager. Police chief, complaining officer's name, trustees, email.
Right, and then also they have to be first-hand witness. So let's say they complain that, you know, you did something. Well, were they first-hand witness of somebody being harmed or injured? So they have to provide information in the form of like an affidavit. An affidavit is like, you know, they swear under penalties of perjury that they have first-hand witness of the whatever event that they're complaining about. So again, you know, the big thing is territorial jurisdiction. Do they have even jurisdiction to complain? If their jurisdiction is in Washington, D.C., what are they doing over here in Hawaii complaining about anything? So again, it goes back to Washington, D.C. is where their jurisdiction is. They don't have a jurisdiction anywhere else. So, you know, and on that.
So let me just say that again. I think I want to interrupt you really quick. So Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia, those businesses have just a structure over that area. They can't like do their dirty work everywhere around the world.
Exactly. And so, you know, if you look at number 6, okay, so 8 USC 1101, this is their codes, okay? It's not something I made up. You can look it up. The term state includes the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Virgin Islands of the United States, okay? So it includes District of Columbia. And then Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 You know, district not exceeding 10 mile squares. Where is that? Washington, D.C. Yeah, UCC 9-307, the location of debtor. What is the definition of
where's
debtor?
that? I have the
That's
number 6,
on
evidence of
E.
counting.
E.
Okay.
Yeah, so 6E, go all the way down to the end. UCC 9-307, location of debtor. The definition, go look up the definition of debtor. Debtor is the one
Are
who
you on a
owes
different,
the debt.
are you on another page? Are you on another page?
No, I'm still on FOIA, FOIA police.
FOIA police template.
6, number 6.
Okay, yeah, I see. 6 says
E.
evidence. C as in cat. B as in boy.
E is in Edward. E is in Edward.
E, C, D. I do not have an E on mine. So let's go ahead and move on to another one because I do not see it. There's no E here. A, B, C, D, and then it ends.
Yeah.
So
okay, well, maybe...
let's go on to the next one, which is the FOIA.
I'll tell you really quickly. Okay, so UCC 9-307, it says the United States is located in the District of Columbia. So I can't get any clearer than that. So how are they going to answer these FOIAs, right? Because I'm giving them evidence, right?
Yep.
So
basically, you guys, we're just giving you some templates that you, if you're brave enough, because honestly, I've done it. I've tried. I can't remember what I did, but it wasn't like this. It wasn't correct. I tried to get out of a ticket, which was super ridiculous because it was 1 a.m. Long story, but it didn't work for me. But at least I tried. And I didn't do it this way. I did it with the jurisdiction of the fact that we are in an occupied territory and they have no jurisdiction. And so the judge totally disagreed with that. But this is completely different. If and when I get a speeding ticket again, I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to at least try to do one of these things. So say that again, T.
This gives them evidence. I mean, you know, how can you refute their own codes? This is U.S. code, so how can they refute it? Right? If you say just jurisdiction, but you don't point to where their jurisdiction is, where their box is that they can't get out of, then, you know, they can roll over you. But here, you're not in court, okay? So you're just giving a FOIA that they have to answer within 10 days. So first point of contact is the police, okay? Second point of contact is the prosecutor. So the prosecutor is the one who's bringing the charges, okay? So the police makes a complaint, and he has to have like an affidavit saying, I'm eyewitness to this crime, this whatever that I'm complaining about. And then the second point of contact is the prosecutor, okay? So it's basically the same, basically same thing, okay? And then you also do one for the court administrators. Now, the court administrators are the top guys, okay? They're the ones that convert the ticket into a case number, which they, you know, collect money on the stock market because they monetize these so-called cases, okay? So they turn it into cases, which is like a security, and they monetize it and put it on the stock market and make tons of money off of it. And so,
oh my God, I did not know that. Oh my God, that's crazy. Okay, wait. Okay, so you're saying that they take a court case?
Mm-hmm.
You're saying they take a court case and they monetize it and put it on the stock market? Like, did I hear that wrong? That's crazy. How can they do that?
Yep. Because they're businesses. They're there to make money off of our ignorance. So the money they make on the stock market is way beyond the fines and fees. You think, oh, you're paying them fines and fees? That's not where the money is. The money is in the securities that they create. And it's big money. It's not, you know, a few $100s or a few $1,000s. It's way more than that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. So I did not know that. That's completely craziness. So the disclaimer of interest template. Is that the next one? Disclaimer of interest template.
Okay, so after you do the 3 FOIAs, then, and you do this all at the same time. You're going to file it all at the same time, okay? So the disclaimer of interest says that, okay, well, forgive me, I didn't know that birth certificate wasn't mine. I thought it was, and I've been using it to get all these other adhesion contracts like licenses and Social Security and blah, blah, blah. Well, it's not mine. It's created by the U.S. The United States corporation paid the state, to generate these birth certificates for their own use. It's not for us. So don't stop saying my birth certificate. Stop saying my license, my registration. It's not. It's in the name of that birth certificate, which is created by the U.S. Okay, but created by the state,
which is an entity. Yes. So just a reminder of everybody. Yes, just a reminder for everybody. Your birth certificate is not who you are. It's actually an entity that was created at your birth that then goes to the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve then is able to issue a bond to the corporate government in an estimation of how many taxes you're going to pay in your lifetime. And that is an entity. It's a corporate, it's a fictitious name. It's not you. You are a living woman or a living man. That's who you are, under God. And you have rights not given by the Constitution, given by God. And I just wanted to let you guys know that. So that's what she's talking about when she says birth certificate. Is that right, T?
Yeah. So don't use that name thinking that it's a woman or a man, because they subverted the language. And so if you've been calling each other like person, because we're so used to that, person or individual or kid, my kid, what does kid, what does that stand for? It's a baby goat. So persons it means, well, isn't a kid a baby goat?
Oh my gosh, I've looked that up. That's crazy.
Yeah, a person is a corporation or a fiction, and individual is the same thing. So we've been raised, right, in public school, teaching us that we're persons and individuals, and our offsprings are kids. Well, we're calling each other fictions and animals. So, animals don't have any rights.
I gotta screen share. I did not know this. You guys, I have to show you guys this. A noun, a young baby goat, a noun kid in contemporary English is mostly used to informally refer to child. She's a kid, However, the original meaning, which still exists but is rarely used outside the context, is a young goat. It's a young goat.
Yep.
Oh my God.
So they're referring to us as fictions and animals, and male, female are also reference to animals. Not people, not men, not women, but animals. So, of course, we don't have any rights because we're animals.
Wow.
So that's part of the thing. Yeah. So let's move on. So the disclaimer of interest basically disclaims that you are that fictional entity on the birth certificate. Okay. So that and also that it's reverted to the U.S. because the U.S. is the original companies that paid the state to generate these birth certificates. So that's the disclaimer of interest. I disclaim any interest in that. Okay. And, any contracts that I might have entered into without full disclosure. Okay. So moving on. So,
This is a notice required joinder of parties.
Mm-hmm. So joinder of parties under, Rule 19, federal and state. And what you're doing, because you disclaim that birth certificate name is no longer yours and revert it back to the U.S., now you can pull in, when that name is being attacked, you can enjoin the U.S. into the case. Because guess what? You revert it back to the U.S. It's not yours. So when they're attacking the name, they're not attacking you. They can't because you're living. They're not. And so when they're attacking that name, and usually it's in all caps, it doesn't have to be, but it usually is, just like your license, just just like the licenses and the Social Security, it's in all caps, right? It's a dead thing. And so you enjoin the U.S. now into the case, right? Because it's attacking a property of the U.S., that straw man name. Okay, so that's what that does. So it brings in the U.S. into the case. Okay, so that's pretty powerful, I think, because, you know, now we know who the parties are, and we're telling them who the parties are. And then I'm going through this pretty quickly, but, you know, it's just like an overview. So the next one is the subrogation. So subrogation means that, you know, a third party can step in and pay the debt for another. Okay, so even though we know that this is all fraud, but courts are for warring. It's for if there's, you know, a controversy. So in order to stay out of court, we don't want to be in controversy. And so we're willing to honorably step in as a third person to pay the debt for that entity, straw man. Okay, and there's no money because in 1933, I mean, go back a little history, 1933, they removed the gold standard, so they stole gold from people. And so there is no money. The FRNs are no more than monopoly money because it's backed by nothing. There's no gold, so, you know, there's no value. The only value is what people give it. And so the Constitution, Article 1, Section 10, stipulates that, you know, what money is gold and silver, and because there isn't any. So the only option is to discharge. And discharging meaning, you know, you just autograph your name on any of these instruments. And any of these instruments like tickets and citations and mortgages and utility bills and this bill and that bill, you can discharge by just giving your autograph. And that sounds unbelievable, but if you look at, I forget what the law is, but HJR 196, and there's a corresponding law, it gets into discharge and how you discharge these debts, so-called debts. And all debts are obligations of the United States. 18 U.S.C. Section 8 says that. So, you know, you might want to take a look at that and see. So subrogation is standing in honor to make peace, and, you know, so there's no controversy, so court is not necessary, right? So we discharge these obligations, which are like the tickets or the citation, the original. Okay, so when you get the ticket, you discharge it, and I'll show you examples of that. And that's the discharge front and back, if you could show that.
Yep, I got it up.
Okay.
It says Superior Court of the State of California, Justice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So whatever this presentment you got, the ticket or the summons or the warrant, and you always want to ask for the original, right? Because the original is what they're using to monetize. And they create, you know, securities out of it, and they monetize, and they get paid off of this. They sell it on the stock market. So that's the verbiage that you would use. So the front, you know, pay to the order. If I don't have it in front of me, but and then you turn it over to the back, and on the back you pay to the order of the United States Treasury, because Treasury is where the discharge happens. They're the responsible for, you know, the money and the whatever. So without recourse, that means reserving all your rights by, again, you autograph, and then you are the authorized representative. So, you know, that again separates you from that fiction that they are attacking. You're not that fiction. You're not that name. You're not John Doe, but you're the authorized representative. And another thing is that if you have checks, look at your checks. Look at the line where you're supposed to, you know, sign, right?
I did this. Oh my gosh, you guys,
Yeah.
I did this. She was talking about
Yeah.
on your check that you write checks with, you have to get a magnifying glass because you won't see it without this. I got a super, super magnifying glass, and the line, which you think is just a line where you sign, it says authorized signature. And mine is like, but it's so dinky small.
Right. That's on purpose because you're not supposed to know.
Right? It's so small that it looks like a line, but it's not a line. It's words.
Right.
Look on your check. Get a magnifying glass. Look on the number right where you sign that line. Look at that line. It says authorized signature. So, T,
Right.
is there anything else you want to share about this? You guys, I know this is a lot of information, and it's scary sometimes. Scary is not sometimes, but when you first start to go against the grain and to actually stand up for your rights, you know, officer comes to your window, that's intimidation. That's intimidating, and that's for a reason. And a lot of these officers don't know the law. They don't know that, one, you're not driving the car, you're traveling, and you have a constitutional right. Actually, you have a right to travel freely. You have a right to travel freely in your country. When you're traveling, you're not driving. Driving means commerce. Driving means if you have a business and you're driving somewhere for the business, now you're driving. But if you're just going somewhere to the store, you're traveling. So that's very confusing for people. So maybe this is just the first step of just learning that this is possible and that some people do this. Maybe that's just your first step. You know, just, oh my gosh, being open to going, what did she say? Is this for real? And then you start to look a little bit. We're just planting seeds. That's all this is doing. It's just planting a little bit of seed for you to know that you are more free than you could ever possibly imagine. And that the corporation business that calls itself a government it put restrictions on you and intimidation so they can get money. They can actually trade your offenses on the stock market, which I did not even know. That's so crazy. And we don't have to do that. We don't have to play into their game anymore once you know how to do this. And I do highly recommend that you don't do anything until you feel comfortable and you're like, okay, I got this. I understand what's going on. And maybe this is just the first seed that's planted. So, T, is there anything else you want to share?
Yeah. So with the tickets, you know, you don't have to sign it because it's another contract. So anything that, you know, they make you sign or, you know, you think you have to sign, it's a contract. And so you don't have to sign it. You can't force a contract, right? But if you think that, you know, you're going to be harmed by not, then you always sign any so-called government documents with by : and then, you know, without recourse, authorized representative, because that, again, puts a distance between you and that straw man entity, which you're not. So, you know, if you just sign your name, then, you know, you agree, yeah, I'm that entity, that name, right? And then so now they have jurisdiction over you because you're an entity. So they have jurisdiction over other corporate things that they create. So that's what I would recommend is you not sign it, but if you feel like, you know, your safety is compromised, then sign it by. You can put void, but always by authorized representative without recourse. Okay, and so, yeah. And so what's next here?
Well, actually, okay. I need to get going. Let's talk again because I don't have a lot of time for to move forward with any more of this. And I do just want to plant seeds. I just want to plant seeds because this information is crazy. You guys, there's also a lot more of this type of information being shared on the internet, so YouTube and things like that. So find those people, and if you would like and share and subscribe to this channel, it helps the algorithm, helps us reach more people. And again, Stand Together Hawaii and Blossom Inner Wellness. I'm actually going to create the Freedom School on Blossom Inner Wellness, and that is about inner wellness, understanding your rights, understanding who and what you are, which is a light being of God, And you're not just this corporate entity, which can be controlled by another corporate entity, which is just trying to use you for money. So T, I just want to say thank you again. I mean, you've been studying this for so long and you're helping so many people. And I just really appreciate you so much.
Thanks, and I appreciate you as well for putting it out. And one last thing is I want people to look up USA versus US.info. So USA vs US.info. And it gives you comparison, you know, between the actual country and the corporate US, and it's pretty profound. And, you know, spread it everywhere and look it up. It is so, it's got a lot of detailed information. And I hope we continue this because, you know, it's not done yet. The process is not done yet, but maybe in another call.
Yes, yes, little seeds, little bites. And I am also going to be interviewing a lawyer about this, about common law next week. So I'm excited about that. And T, I'd love to get you on the calendar as well at some point again. But thank you guys for joining. StandTogetherHawaii.com, and again, Blossom Inner Wellness, and sending you much aloha.
Aloha.